everybody. This is Stephen, the Carnivore Pastor. Got my shades on today because my future's so bright. I have to wear them. Nah, just kidding. I wanted to come to you today because I had something that I felt was really good that I wanted to share with you that can help you. Sitting in here in my sunroom today, I wrote down some notes. And once again, I want to give things to you that I believe can help you in your journey on the carnivore lifestyle. By the title of this video, it's called Breaking Bad, but it's called Breaking Bad Habits. You know, habits are behaviors that we often do unconsciously, and to break bad ones, we have to become conscious and aware that we're doing them, and then we have to choose to replace them with good habits. Breaking bad habits is a process. And if you are a person who gives up easily, you won't get very far. So I want you to begin to think about making a decision that you are in for the long haul. Don't just go into carnivore for a week. Don't just do this for 2 weeks. Don't just do it for 30 days. Man, go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to do this for 90 days and see what it's doing for you. But make it the long haul, that you're willing to have, you're willing to have the pain for the gain. Anything worth having in life is going to take a concentrated effort. That goes for anything, not just a new health lifestyle, but with anything in our lives. And, you know, as the carnivore pastor, I always like to approach things, even in the physical realm, with the spiritual realm. And so some of what I'm telling you today will do that. You know, for me, with God's help, you know, and a determined attitude and an awareness of bad habits that need to get broken in my life, I have begun to have victory and have had victory in several of those in my life. And if you would do the same, I believe they would help you be able to walk successful in whatever you're trying to do, especially when you're dealing with the carnivore lifestyle. And I want you to be encouraged that you can break the bad habits. And you can do it with God's help if you choose to, but you need to do that by replacing it with the good ones. You know, I believe as creations of God, He's made us creatures of habit. Habits in and of itself are not bad. They're meant to make us durable. They're meant to make us push and strive. But they also can be contested ground. You know, Paul even talked about this, the Apostle Paul in Romans chapter 7. He said this somewhere around, I think, verse 15. He said, "For I do not understand my own actions." He says, "For I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing that I hate." And later on he goes, "For I have the desire to do what is right, but not the ability to carry it out. For I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not want is what I keep doing." Boy, doesn't that sound like all of us with our habits? We'll have good intentions. I want to start this new lifestyle. I want to start this new habit. I want to get rid of this. And we start out good but we go back to what I call the default button, and we go back to our bad habits. And so we can't do that. And so like Paul, we stand or fall on our habits. Even the smallest of our habits have their hands on the rudder of our lives. You know, the habits control us. Small choices in abundance add up to big choices. And small habits over decades add up to a lifetime. And so bad habits can come in and they interrupt our life, and they literally will prevent us from accomplishing our goals in life. And it's this way with the carnivore lifestyle. So they will jeopardize our health, both mentally and physically, and they'll literally waste our time and energy. You know, so you know you don't just eliminate a bad habit. You have to replace it. Maybe you've all heard this before. Practice makes perfect. Man, that's a lie. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. And so we have to make sure that what we're practicing is correct, because that's going to determine our habits. And so how do I break my bad habits? Let me just give you just a few things real fast that can help you. First, choose to substitute for a bad habit. In other words, you got to replace the bad with something good. Have a plan. Whatever it is, whatever you're dealing with, you need to have a plan. You need to have a plan for what you will do instead of the bad habits. Begin to look at your plan, write it down. Cut out as many triggers as possible. Listen, if you smoke when you drink, then don't go to a bar. If you eat cookies when they're in the house, then throw them away. Simple. Right now, our environment makes our bad habits easier and our good habits harder. So we literally have to change our environment, and then we can change our outcome. Sounds simple, and it is simple, but it's going to take some things we've talked about in the past, making right choices, self-discipline, but it can be done. Another way to help get rid of bad habits is to join forces with somebody. How often do you try to diet in private? Or maybe you just quit smoking, but you kept it to yourself because you didn't want someone to see you fail, right? But instead, what we have to understand is the power in joining up with others. Pair up with someone and quit together. Do the same thing with the carnivore lifestyle. You may be on your own, but man, it is so much more powerful when you find someone else to join in with you and help you and hold you accountable. Matter of fact, the Bible even says in one of the Old Testament scriptures, it says one can put 1,000 to flight, but two can put 10,000 to flight. And so that's exponential success. One can put 1,000 things away. Two can put 10,000. And so the two of you can hold each other accountable and can celebrate your victories together, knowing that someone else expects you to be better is a powerful motivator. One of the reasons I do the carnivore channel, my carnivore channel, is because it holds me accountable. Because I'm going to tell you things, I got to hold it in my own life. I do that with other people individually too. Surround yourself with people who live the way you want to live. Now, that doesn't mean you ditch all your old friends, but don't underestimate that power of finding some new ones that can join in with you. Another thing you can do to help break a bad habit is to use the word but to overcome negative self-talk. One thing about battling bad habits is that it's easy to judge yourself for not acting right. And every time you slip, every time you fall off the wagon, every time you make a mistake in your carnivore journey, it's easy to tell yourself how much you suck and you end up quitting. But whatever or whenever this happens, and it's going to happen at times, always finish your sentence with the word but. The book of Proverbs, which is full of wisdom. I encourage anyone to read the book of Proverbs. There's 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs. You can read one chapter a day, every day. And if you do that every day throughout the year, by the end of the year, because there's 12 months, you will have read through the book of Proverbs you will have read each chapter 12 times. You're going to get some good wisdom. But one of the Proverbs says this. Proverbs 18:21 says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit." Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. In other words, what comes out of your mouth is going to be either death or life. In other words, if you say, "Well, I'm fat and I'm overweight and I'm out of shape," then that's probably where you're going to stay. But if you say, "Yeah, right now I'm fat, I'm out of shape, but I could be and I'm going to be in better shape in just a few months from now." If someone says, "Hey, I'm stupid, nobody respects me, but I'm working to develop a valuable skill." I'm a failure, but I am going to be a success. Begin to add that to that. And then understand what Paul wrote in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9 and 10. He says, Paul is asking the Lord for something in a prayer request, and the Lord answered him with this: my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. For the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weakness, insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong. See, when we can admit our weaknesses, then we can begin to change those into strengths. Just like dominoes, making and breaking habits consist of an untold number of daily, doable steps that lead to huge change in our lives. One of the great pastors that I read a lot of is Pastor Craig Groeschel, and he makes this statement. He says, small disciplines done consistently lead to big results over time. So, in other words, small wins matter. Man, I hope this can help you break those bad habits. If you're watching this and you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button on this video. Do me a favor if you haven't either. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, man, I sure would love to have you subscribe. It will really help me boost where I'm trying to go to reach more people. And then if you would hit that bell notification so you can be notified when I post new content. Hope this helps you today. And until next time, God bless.